not that you can really see it.
Well, can we have it to where when it go off, you just give a signal in the air?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I mean, if he could keep it where I can see it.
Yeah, you can kind of time yourself.
Yeah, that kind of helped me with the timing.
Okay, cool.
Right. All right. So what we doing? We shooting the.
Yeah, one more promo, and it would be good for you to still be in this particular shot, just so it won't be an empty seat.
Okay.
All
but
right.
it's still referencing to Red being right there, though.
Okay.
All right. Rolling camera.
All right. Let's get
Promo
it.
number 2 at the desk. And action.
Peace to you and yours, Brother Blueport, and live and direct to you, right? You don't see Brother Red, but he's here with me, right? The brother is here in spirit, and we want to announce to you a new podcast that we have coming called Blurred Lines. Now, look, there's a thin line between reality and fiction, between fact and fiction. We want to help you navigate those very thin lines, all right? So it's no longer blurry. We're going to be bringing it to you in high definition, full clarity, all right? Decoding, explaining, deciphering all of the hottest trending topics of the day, all right? We're going to be bringing this to you in real time. It's a podcast that's going to be taking place in real time, not post-edited or everything. You're going to see everything go down in real time. One take hold. And with that, stay tuned. Peace. That was cool?
The beans are cool.
Okay.
Give me a 15-seconder now. Like, cause for Instagram.
A sizzle reel?
Yeah. Like 15
seconds.
seconds.
Okay, sizzle something, 15 seconds. All right, yeah, let's just get the countdown going.
And that's, we can do 30.
30 seconds? That's long, all right.
And we'll start.
When I get to the 30 part. Peace to you and yours, Brother Blueport, live and direct to you. I want to report the fact.
That was cool.
God damn it.
And rolling cam.
Peace to you and yours, Brother Blueport, live and direct to you. Want to inform the world we have a new podcast coming. This one is called Blurred Lines. Me and Red will be deciphering all of the trending topics, the hottest trending topics, right here, real time, live. Peace.
Do me one favor and close on the name of the show one more time.
Close with the name?
You say it when opening and say it on the close.
All right.
Bring it to you live. Blurred Lines, the podcast.
Got you.
Just leave it on their brain what the name of it is.
Absolutely.
Because even as a producer, I'm forgetting by the end of it, the commercial myself.
Got you. 30 seconds. Shout out to the live family. All right. I'm bringing y'all in real time.
And action.
Peace to you and yours, Brother Blueport, live and direct to you. Want to inform the world that we have a new podcast coming. Me and Red will be presenting Blurred Lines. There's a very thin line between fact and fiction, and we're going to give you the clarity. All right? Tune in for Blurred Lines podcast coming soon.
That was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
You so cold with this shit.
Yeah. Beat the time.
Beat the time, all right. Peace to the family, y'all. Peace out there in the Instagram world, all right? I'm bringing you behind the scenes. We are shooting, a new podcast, something that deals with a love that I have, which is reporting the news. You know what I'm saying? We do it over here on Instagram. I do it so effortlessly, but we're gonna bring it to the big times, right? We got that good red camera.
Yes, sir.
You feel me? We got the whole, we got the situation and the setup set up. I got my brother Sauce with me.
Peace.
You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be bringing high vibrational programming, right? We got the guard. Talk to the family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We in here, man. Blue behind that camera doing his thing, really super talented, but in front of and behind. And we're gonna bring out the podcast, man. It's gonna be awesome. Blurred Lines. Make sure y'all pay attention.
We merging with some cinematic geniuses.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? To bring
the culture is lit.
Yes, a new aesthetic
Yeah.
to the family. You know, we need that daily news vibe. You know what I'm saying? We need to stand on top of this news. We need to make sure that it pops, that it snaps, that it do everything that it need to do to keep you tuned in. Yeah. You feel me? These are critical times that we in, and we got to be on top of the news. We got to be in front of the news. We can no longer afford to be underneath the news. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to make sure that we packaged and we presented a product to you that was on par, you know, with the excellence that you deserve. You feel me? We wanted to make sure that we packaged and presented a product to you that's on par with the 50th anniversary that we are dealing with. We wanted to make sure that we packaged and presented a product, you know, that represented the excellence that this 50 years signifies. You feel me? And one of the mainstays or the main things that we know that we need more of is affirmative, effective news. You know what I'm saying? We need to be in control of our media, right? But we need it to look a particular way. We need it to pop. We need it to snap. We need it to be engaging. You feel me? We need to incorporate all of the latest technology into what we're doing, you know, so we can make what we're doing seem, you know, that much more larger, right? Not low budget, but no budget. And make it look like it's something of the highest quality, you know. And I mean, I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying that I see high production garbage out there. Things that are hella produced with the content is garbage, right? The topics are garbage. You feel me? The approach is garbage. It's just not, you know, it's not satisfying to the soul. So I know that the topics that we're dealing with, I know that the information that we're bringing, you know what I'm saying, it's engaging enough. We just need to give it the look that it deserves so it can be long-lasting and long-standing, and it could be genre-crossing as well. You know what I mean? There's no reason that our programming shouldn't be on a BET or a VH1. Now that's not the goals. I'm just saying produce product of quality that can fit anywhere that it's supposed to be. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That if they do call you to come outside and to play, you got your sneakers already laced up. So we should not ever lessen the quality because it's not quote unquote mainstream. We should still be producing quality work that will work in a mainstream setting at any given time. You feel me? Our people deserve that. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot going on in the news. There's a lot going on in a place of public discourse. And I would normally get on here and give you 60-minute documentaries on live. That's you know, we do that effortlessly. But we got to keep some sauce, right? We got to keep some sauce to the, we got to keep some of it home. You know what I mean? We got to keep some of that contained. We got to keep some of it, some of this content for these programs. You know what I mean? So I ain't going to be going live every day giving 60 to 2 hour documentaries or what have you. You know what I'm saying? We just not doing that no more. So yeah, I want to show you the logo. The logo look dope. You know, we got the blurred line. So I don't know if y'all could catch it or not. Oh yeah. But blurred is a play on blue and red. You feel me? Blue and red. Blurred. Yeah. That's kind of dope. When worlds collide, you know? I'm going to take him on a little run real quick. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard, right? So I give you a little. Oh, my bad. You know.
Yes, sir.
Got that good red popping. You know. Got that red going. We got some segments coming. They're going to be in here. I'm not going to give all the sauce away, but, you know what I'm saying? We doing some stuff. You know what I mean? We're doing some things in there. Then, of course, we got the good. Got the green screen. Got the white room, or the white, white screen, green screen, white screen, green screen. Got recording studios in here. You feel me? Editing suites and all that. You know what I mean? We're going to get this shit together. I kid you not. You feel me? We the best, we just not promoted right. I kid you not. We're going to get this shit together. And it's another recording studio over here. You know, with the homies. Peace, God. So, yeah, you know, we're going into full production. And it's definitely time. It's been time. You know what I mean? And I'm excited. I'm excited about it because there's a lot going on. You feel me? And I just want to point some things out before I disengage. You know what I mean? It's so hard to say goodbye. You know, I can't get on here and not touch nothing. So I gotta cover something. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be right. There's too much going on. It's hard for me to ignore this shit. And you know, like I said, we're having an elaborate discussion on some of these topics on the show. So I don't want to get into too much. You feel me? But I also do not want to miss the opportunity to touch on some points that just in case we didn't know. So first and foremost, let me say rest in peace to the elder Dr. Clemson Brown, and I wanna make a point. Transatlantic Production is the name of his media outfit, right? This elder was the one he represented old media. He was the one at the lecture capturing all of the lectures, right? He was the one when the game was just VHS. You know what I'm saying? This was the elder putting all of the lectures on VHS. You feel me? He has catalogs of everybody and damn near everything. You know what I mean? So I want to give a rise in power, a rest in power to our elder, Clemson Brown. Right? Transatlantic Productions. If you grew up on the DVD, VHS era of lectures, you know what I'm saying? This elder was very instrumental. And he dealt with us equitably, you know what I'm saying? He was definitely an elder, a big homie, you know what I mean? So salute to him. May he continue to rise in power. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Right? Where we gonna go first? So much taking place. Whew. Jesus. PayPal. Yeah, it's a lot of activity. It's a lot of activity. Is this the one? All right, they talking about Savannah. Yeah, the blurred lines, man, is blurred line is where we're going with it. That's gonna be the slap. And what you call it is coming back stronger and better. Build and Destroy podcast. Shout out to Malik. Shout out to Tyreek. Right, we got a new situation set up with that as well. So we bringing it with that as well. All right. So let's talk about Harriet, right? The riverboat Montgomery has a significant connection to the history of slavery. It was during the era of slavery in the United States that riverboats were commonly used to transport enslaved people along the Mississippi River. Okay, these riverboats, including the Montgomery, served as a means of transportation for enslaved people being brought and sold, as well for those being taken to plantations to work. The riverboat Montgomery therefore represents a dark chapter in history, reminding us of the injustice and suffering endured by enslaved individuals. It is important to acknowledge and understand its history in order to work towards a more just and equitable society. You feel me? The Harriet ship has a long-standing history, as it was first launched in Liverpool in 1786. This boat comes from the 1700s, right? The Harriet was a slave ship back in the 1700s. They were shuffling, right? Because I know people's first response is to say, oh, slavery didn't exist. There's no evidence of slave boats. This was a boat between Liverpool and Barbados, right? So, yeah, like, this is not even an FBA conversation, no disrespect. But they were transporting slaves into the West Indies from Liverpool. And then, because the British had it, the French snatched it, right? And then the British got it back. So this boat done been through so much shit, right? But it was it's been a slave ship since the 1700s, utilized for human trafficking. Let's stop calling this shit slavery. It was human trafficking, right? And let's stop calling them slaves. They were prisoners of war, right? Or whatever you call people that have been captured in human trafficking. Okay? So, from 1798 to 1805, it carried thousands of slaves to Barbados and then back to Liverpool. Like I said, FBA niggas, you don't even need to apply to this conversation, right? We talking about the shit that was taking place in the Caribbean. Peace, Lordy. Okay? However, past this, it was owned by Barton and Company and also cruised between Liverpool and Africa, and now serves as a relaxing cruise and is one of Montgomery's tourist attractions, which offers visitors dinners, dancing, live entertainment, and more, right? As the brawl took place on the Montgomery port due to that ship, right? Many social media users were quick to react to the videos. They sarcastically called the altercation a display of unity. Many also highlight the irony of the situation and linked it to the ship's history of transporting slaves. Right? So it's like, my niggas, is this a flex? Is this the flex that you're going to stand on? Right? Because those melanated people were still working on that ship. Those melanated people were still holding that ship up. Right? Those melanated people were still dependent and contingent upon a slave ship to pay their, their salaries, their rents, or what have you. This ship is the reason why the altercation took place. My question is why are these ships still intact?
Right. That's the
right?
action
Why
there.
these ships not chairs? Since y'all want to talk about the folding chairs.
Come on, man.
Why these ships have not been broken down into plywood and made chairs?
Come on, man.
Why are the plantations still standing in the South as relics, right? For the injustices that have been done upon our people. Why are these shits still standing around as tourist attractions here in the South?
That's the call to action.
Yeah, that shit was sardine packed with your people, but you think it's a flex because our people jumped off the boat to run and to swim to hold a brother down who was attempting to run some other people off the porch so he could make room for that boat. And his name was Jasmine. No disrespect. No disrespect to Buddy because they speaking, the people that know him. Damn, what did they say? He got a nickname. What's his name?
Jasmine got a nickname.
Jasmine do got a nickname. You know what I'm saying? But his name was Jasmine Williams. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to him. That hat throw was just epic. Like Schmurder need him on a remix ASAP. Schmurder, you better be on a plane on your way to Montgomery doing a remix on the dock, right? Bring the spinners with you too.
He missing the golden opportunity to post it on his Instagram.
He gotta get the whole. Fuck the post, nigga. Homie Tyrone him. He cloned his whole. You can't just throw him on the post. You gotta flick it up. You gotta flew him out. He gotta be on the stage. And,
yeah.
He gotta be at Hip Hop 50, throwing this shit.
Crazy. Bring him out.
You gotta bring him out, bro.
Whoa, that was crazy.
He gotta bring him out. You know what I'm saying? And my dude Aquaman, he got to live as well.
Oh no, he got so many promo deals.
So Aquaman, a 16-year-old. You feel me?
He was 16?
16.
Wow.
They said he lost his phone and his keys. You know what I'm saying? He threw his shit down and jumped on a boat. And jumped in the water.
Yeah, they've been donating
to go hold him
I've
down. They've been donating. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? He graduated. Oh, salute to him. He's a legend. He's gonna be a forever legend. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was cute, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It was cute, and it was a beginning of something that we have to keep the momentum going with. And I'm not saying in terms of running around packing out colonizers. I'm just talking about the energy and the momentum of what unity looks like. Because my high level observation is this, right? What if this is a result of our mirror neurons looking at who cloned Tyrone and seeing the scene when they unified? Because that's the shit that made us feel so good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was the scene that we were speaking about. So when we understand the science of neurocinematics, and this is a cheap, promotion for KT's high level conversation, right? Which we should all go and check out and stream and share and do any and everything necessary so we can run them numbers up. Because the young man is on there giving a fucking a clinic on consciousness. You know what I'm saying?
He had a mellow in the garden night. He been at 60. For real. He been waiting on this moment.
Yeah, he been waiting.
I can tell.
This was his Kobe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Jordan playing tonight? Okay. Right?
Now he came out the gate swinging.
Yeah. So, and shout out to Akibalan. Your algorithm's out the bag. Yeah, nigga, they had on blue shirts, all right? So we know what the next algorithm's gonna be, right? They jumped off on them blue shirts and got busy. But I heard a live of a young lady who was on the boat as well, and she was like, these niggas was. She was like, they had to dock the boat and jump off and put in work. There was people that was there that was filming that was doing nothing.
Right.
right? There was still complacency amongst the ranks.
I heard Brandon Marshall say it's gonna be a lot of friendships lost after that one.
A lot of friendships.
Where was you at, my nigga? Sebastian, where were you?
Right? So, yeah, you know, KT speaks about neurocinematics. We understand the science of mirror neurons. What are mirror neurons? Right? I posted it yesterday, but I'll repost it. Mirror neurons suggest that if you see something, you can get up and do it yourself, right? Because you replicate it. Mm-hmm. We have the capacity with mirror neurons to replicate things that we see, that we identify with. We can run a play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
If you see it, you can achieve it.
If you see it, you can achieve it. Mm-hmm. Right? So we saw unity in the movie, and we ain't seen that shit in so long that it felt like, damn, I never really saw that like that. It was such a relief to see it in the movie.
So Clone Tyrone decided to ride for Montgomery Broad, Dakota, right here.
Right.
Brought to you live.
Brought to you live. Like, you gonna catch the HD version on Blur Vision, on Blur Lines, but we brought it to you live and solved it. That when you artificially or when you artistically inseminate, that's a whole word right there. When you artistically inseminate an idea and an image, when you see the mind with a concept whose time it is, right? Then the only thing that you got to do is water it and get out the way. You feel me? Mm. So the image and the idea of unity was already seeded by the image that we saw in Tyrone, which was one of the most powerful scenes. And we're not putting into context the fact that they put Jamie Foxx into the Boston Crab the day before. Mm. Let me repeat that.
Another tea party. This is the Montgomery Broad with the tea party.
I'm saying that the way that this shit works in the weirdest of fashions, right? Because it's circuitous, it's not linear, is that he was characterized in the scene in the movie, right? That artistically inseminated an image in our minds, right? That was able to blossom itself when he needed it the most. When he needed it the most, that was the ancestor redeeming his punk ass for having to apologize, right?
So for those who may not be aware, me being one of those people, what did Jamie Foxx come out and apologize about?
Okay, so Jamie Foxx put a tweet up.
Okay.
Either Friday, right? And it said, man, they killed Jesus, right? You can't, in so many words, if they killed Jesus, what they gonna do with me? You can't trust your closest of friends because Judas killed Jesus, right? I don't think he would meant that the Jews killed Jesus. He was Judas killed Jesus, but he wasn't clear on what he meant by the theys. And that's a very ambiguous term. And we know that in the community about the theys, right? So he could have meant anything. And he was speaking with nuances, right? Same way in our community, when a nigga throws his hat, that's a nuance. White America don't understand that.
Right.
Right? But, yo, ew, skill. Those are nuances in our community that we understand what that means. And you're going to respond accordingly. Right?
Right.
So he's the same character that played the Django.
Right.
Was that not the Django energy that we seen? Right? But that also was the energy that we seen for the homies riding. So this character who we have not given the benefit of the doubt nor our proper support as a community, this man has given us characterizations, right, of us showing ourselves rebelling, of us showing ourselves standing tall. Right. And not just in his characterizations of Django and Slim, right? But he's given us Ray. He's given us other characterizations throughout his career of strong melanated men standing up. Right? I never seen him kissing somebody on screen. No disrespect to Will Smith. Right? But for the most part, Jamie has not been. He's a comedian, but he's not played a clown.
Right.
For the most part.
Can you speak to the typecast on how we can assume certain roles within movies, and then that same trajectory places us in those roles in films, and how it plays out the same way that you were just talking about the Django?
Because it's a blurred line.
Okay.
Just like the podcast, right? That was a segue. Because you become a character, the characterization, you're cloning yourself, right, to become this caricature.
Like Liam Neeson, he like the same person in every movie, like he never fails.
Right? He can't shake the character, right? He's permanently in character. So when you encompass somebody and you're in character and you're giving it energy, you're giving it attention, right? You're cloning this character. And then you become, right, there's that very thin line because you become tethered to that character as well.
So in that case, can we say that that's what happened to Tupac when he played Juice?
Absolutely. That's the perfect example. And they call it being in character, and they identify, they like, oh, he never came out of character. All his friends say he never came out of character. Whether it was Tupac or whether it was Birdie, right?
Right.
And there becomes a socialization for the test studies of your character. Meaning this, when Al Pacino was playing Scarface, he was hanging out with drug dealers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When Heath Ledger had to become the Joker, he had to go into a dark, psychotic place. So he was probably hanging out with psychopaths.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When Tupac had to become Birdie, he was hanging out with Haitian Jack and them. Right? My brother Darren Henson is on the line. He is an actor, right? Certified out of Hollywood. So he can speak about what it takes to go into character. Red Pill is on the line. He took a class from the acting coach. Her name is Maribel Moore. I forget her first name. She taught Buster, all of them. She amazing spiritual. Damn, she had an acting class that is on par in the world of acting as one of the premier classes that she teach. Red, what was the spirited actor? What was the name of her acting school? Right. Nonetheless, right. And I've been to act. Have you ever been to like acting school?
Yeah.
Right. So you know, you got to go in character like that, right? And often, especially with me, the character they would throw me into was totally opposite of who I was. Right? Yeah, method acting is what we're speaking about. And oftentimes, right? Yeah, Tracy Moore, the spirited actor. Okay? The spirited actor. Yes, and when you go deep into character, when you go deep into your role, you feel me? That blurred line exists. Art and real life. You know what I'm saying? And the very thin line that exists between the two is art imitating life or is life imitating art. The lines will get blurred. You know what I mean? Because you spent so much time in the depths of this particular character, developing this character. It's very hard for you to just snap back and find who you were. You know what I mean? So you'll often find characters are somewhat isolated. You know, they'll finish a role. They're not that social of a people. You see them when they pop out. You know what I mean? And they're jumping into, they're shedding one character to get ready to jump into another one. So they're cloning for the most part. You know what I'm saying? They're cloning their character to assume that role. And they have to embody it. Yes, Drake is the perfect example, you know, of somebody, you know, who clones their character and gets into their role.
He's someone that can morph like this.
Morph, right.
Yeah.
He morphs. He's a chameleon. He's a scorpion.
Yeah, exactly.
And scorpions naturally are the chameleon sign. You know what I'm saying? So we morph into shit. But that's what he does, you know, and he's a hybrid as well. So it's Doja Cat. Drake was the first one to change into a cyborg in hip hop. And this was around the time I was doing a lecture series in 2009, and we were speaking about the hybrid agenda, and I was utilizing the observation that Sam Worthington was the same character in Avatar and Terminator Salvation. And this was around the same time that Drake was coming out, right? His album hadn't even released yet, but this is when they was introducing him. And they were saying that he's going to be the new religion. His album didn't even come out yet. And I was like, oh, this nigga's about to be a problem. I understood that he represented the draconian, or the Draco constellation, because this when we was doing our research on Kanye. And this was before Kanye even directed the video. I was like, yo, them niggas is tethered to one another, because Kanye represents Polaris, or the North Star, and Drake represents Draco. And this was the procession of the equinox. They were playing a cosmic script out. But Drake was the same image. He was the same character that Sam Worthington was personifying, because Drake is Jake Scully, the nigga in the wheelchair. He's Jimmy from Degrassi, right? And he was the same nigga from Terminator Salvation, right? He's a hybrid. He's packaged to look and present as one thing, but he's something totally, you know. And not to harp on him being half Jewish, but I'm just saying, y'all never seen nothing like that. Y'all never saw that hybrid in hip-hop where a nigga could sit on the throne and be called the new religion, and he's not even from the States, let alone New York. But he's from the North. The northernest North. We've never seen that. We've never seen that. He didn't even put an album out. They called him the new religion. So, yeah, he does it perfectly. He'll go into a genre, morph into it, whoop. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's that. Then he'll move on to another one, morph into it, whoop. Let me take some shorties from this shit. Go over there. Let me catch some over here. Right? So then that leads us to a very interesting observation as well, since we doing all this observing. And I want my fucking receipts. Just give me a little bit of credit. You know what I'm saying? Sparse my shit, if anything. At the end of last year, I was ranting and raving, right, about practical ways to identify astrological occurrences. So winter solstice took place, and then I noticed that the Tory Lanez and the Meghan case was going on, and I was ranting and saying, yo, this represents a solar ritual of putting the sun in the box around the same time of the summer solstice. I mean the winter solstice, because this nigga's name is Daystar. Mm-hmm. And what is the Daystar? The Daystar is the sun, and he's a Leo. Mm-hmm. And me and Akibalon wrote about this shit in 2020 when it first happened. We was like, this is how it's gonna play out. Why? Because Mega's an Aquarius, and she represents what? The procession of the oncoming age. Right? He represents her opposite. Leo and Aquarius are opposites. He shot her in the foot. She represents what? She's an Aquarius, but the foot represents Pisces. So she symbolizes changing. She's androgynous, right? Whereas she's a woman who's named Meg Thee Stallion. That's Aquarius energy, is it not? For the people to understand astrology, is that not the motif of Aquarius and androgen? So all of these motifs are playing out. I said, yo, they put the sun in the box, and then there was a polar vortex that hit the States immediately right after they locked this nigga up. Then they locked him up in California, and then the shit was storming in California so much that they replenished all of the reservoirs, and there's no longer a drought. right? I explained this. I explained the role that his father, Sunstar, had to play in this. His name is Daystar. His father's name is Sunstar. Right? And his name is Peterson. And this was all dealing around the time of Christmas when we was trying to explain to y'all who Swartpeth was and who Santa Claus or Center Claus was. These are our chemical processes that are speaking about alchemy of turning lead to gold. Right? Center means soot, which is the black dust that you get from an alchemical process. The Peter, right, or the Saint Peter or the Peter Swarth was the black swarth or the little Moorish elves, okay, who represents the whole process of alchemy. They were attempting to turn lead into gold because that's the process of going from Capricorn to Leo. Or when the sun dies in Capricorn, right, which is lead, which is Saturn, right, and it reaches its fullness. It's exalted at its highest station. It receives its strongest lion's mane. When? Now. Right? And to speak about lion's mane, what was everybody talking about with his father? Not just the fact that he went on a rant on the courtroom steps about Jay-Z. They were speaking about his hair and his hairline. And y'all love talking about Tories as well. You focusing on the lion's mane.
Bro, you funny.
I'm saying, blurred lines.
Somebody get this man, bro.
Blurred lines, y'all. Because nobody do it like we do it. It's right there for you to see. So today on the Lionsgate is the day that they're going to put this man on the cross.
Hold on, they just sentenced him today? How much time you get?
Somebody said on my thread, they said 13 years. Because anybody confirmed to us
what it is? Hold on right quick, honey.
How much time this man got?
Wow.
Right? On the Lionsgate, that's how you're gonna finalize.
And he the Leo?
And the Leo. Right? You're gonna finalize this man's what they call what do they call that? Red just said it. They're putting Lizzo through this humiliation rituals, right? You're going to finalize this man's humiliation ritual as a Leo, because the Leo is the sun. So shout out to all of you Leos, right? The motif for a Leo is king or king of kings, right? Tipperoth on the tree of life is the sixth Sephiroth, and that means Jesus. So Leos, because Tipperoth is the sixth Sephiroth, it sits in the middle of the tree of life. The symbol of it is the sun, but it means Christ. So we know that the S-O-N is the S-U-N. We know that the Leo motif is the lion, it's the king, right? It's the child, it's all of these things. We know this, right? And we know that this is how he has personified himself as this battle between dark and light, or the devil and God, right? So they give him 13 years, okay? They give him 13 years on the Lionsgate. Feel me? Yeah, he cracked the code for independent artists. Yeah, I'm not going to get into all of that shit that y'all on about Jesus. Look, I'm talking archetypes and motifs, okay? I'm talking archetypes and motifs. Feel me? Archetypes and motifs. Okay? Yeah, he cracked the codes with the NFTs and showed people how to run the game. Okay. So, yeah, he was the antithesis to Drake at one point as well. Right? He was about the only one that had his card. Feel me? Yeah, and he represented during the Jubilee period of 2020 when we were going through our Jubilee. Okay, he was the one that represented. He would be like the Swore Peep. He was the elf. He represented the fun and the excitement. You know, he kept Club Quarantine going. Yeah, he was turned up, and y'all was there for it, and you was loving it at the time that you was loving it. You feel me? And that's what he represented. He kept it alive. Yeah. He kept that WAP energy whopping. So, you know what your timeline's going to be looking like. You feel me? And y'all going to go straight back from banding together and unifying and pushing back against the colonizer and dealing with your terrestrial tethered traumas to now going back to fighting one another. It only lasted for a few days. Now the timeline's about to be black men and black women at one another's throats arguing about some shit that both of these motherfuckers probably was lying about. You know what I'm saying? They said that a chaplain came forward and said and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, it was either 1,500 or 15,000, however many inmates is in the LA lockup, right? The LA County lockup. They said that this man had a daily prayer situated where he was able to bring together red and blue and other warring factions into his daily prayer circle, which the chaplain said was the most profound shit that he's ever seen in his years as a chaplain. And he said, this man is different, right? So, again, I'm not making a direct correlation to, quote unquote, Christ or Jesus energy. I'm saying as an archetype and a motif, this is what this nigga been on. That's what his daddy's on. He's the son of a preacher man, okay, who is grappling with the dark and the light. That is what his career's been about. That's what his life is about. And he will personify that going into the underworld, which is purgatory, which is prison, right? Buried alive.
Wow.
Feel me?
I ain't gonna lie. Niggas got motion like
yeah. He will, and he will transmute it. I think that this young man has a lot of power in him. He has a lot of power. He's a very powerful being.
But look, we going up. The Rock Nation is a different type of animal.
They are. Yeesh. And I mean,
you can do something like that to Tory. That man, Jesus, that man life just got flipped upside down.
Yeah, and you never know where your assignment is gonna take you though. You know what I'm saying? Especially the people that want to appeal to the streets so much.
Right.
That's not necessarily from that ilk. Sometimes you get packaged and presented in a situation where you can really go and do your work. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's
but
real.
amongst the people who really, really need it. So I feel that he will be an impactful, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie, Tory went on the run when he was packing niggas up.
Yeah.
He was rapping with the best though.
Yeah, he
You feel me? He was on the tear.
And we were speaking about, I think me and my lady was speaking about this last night about his whole shit with Travis.
Yeah.
Right? So so the dichotomy of it, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm saying because he said Travis took his style.
if we talking performers, you know what I'm saying? Tory was the first one I was seeing going crazy like that.
He's saying I know the ad-lib situation was it straight up.
Mm-hmm.
That was a situation they battled up, but you know, Tory ran down on Travis.
Don't do the man like that, man.
So let's look at the dichotomy. Yesterday, Travis placed the 60,000 at Rome, right?
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's what we not doing. Dang.
We're not doing comparisons.
Nah, not in that context.
We ain't blurring the line with that.
You gonna kick him what? Nah, bro.
Nah, I ain't kicking him. I'm making an observation.
That's dirty.
I'm making an observation.
Talking about he did 60,000 while he just got 13 years.
Nice saying he was in front of 60,000 people performing in Rome.
Right, and then now look at Tour.
So Trav probably had his biggest show in front of his biggest audience. At the same time, you know that this man is up against sentencing. It's a dichotomy. I'm not saying yay or nay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In that observation, I'm just showing the polarity of, you know, something can be up and something can be down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my man was facing charges, but homie caught 10 bodies. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we don't really know whose plate this shit want to go on. At the end of the day, we're still looking at people that look like me and you going through, you know, challenges and emerging triumphant. Unfortunately, even if they stepping on people to get there. You know what I mean? It's not, you know, these things are not signaling for you to do step by step. This is just showing you that, yo, you can come up out of some shit. You know what I'm saying? That there are better days. You know what I'm saying? That there is a sunny day behind a dark one. You know, even with this brother's time, I still feel in my heart, and it's just a feeling that his true mission has begun. His assignment is so much more bigger than the smaller one that we know him for.
Yeah, because
you feel me?
It's interesting that you said that, because when I first got with Tory, he was in a certain pocket where he was making music of a certain ilk, and it wasn't as, you know, raunchy or proliferated in a sense that was kind of like, you know, dogmatic. It was more so like it was whole. It was like a whole meal.
And then you can't stop something whose time has come. And then these conversations get uncomfortable, because if I'm like, yo, Travis got a destiny, and y'all like, oh, he demonic, and I'm like, demons don't got destinies?
We ain't finna do that.
So Tory was trying to pipe his whiz. He was trying to pipe his whiz, and he got bent up.
Tory is on. I mean, that's what happened.
When Tory ran down on Son,
that's what happened.
Right? I ain't saying he got bent up for running down on Son.
So we gotta look at the little man syndrome, because we gotta understand that Tory was hit with it. You feel what I'm saying? And he was out here trying to prove himself amongst his peers to validate him, and it caused him to be in the situation that now he paying 13 years for.
I think he was just wild for the night. I mean,
Tory been like that. He been a loose cannon.
Right? But again, I think that this brother has a calling on him. I think that he has the ability to transmute.
Yeah.
Yes. And we wanna give love and light to Matulu Shakur, who was born on the Lionsgate. Today he would be 73. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
But again, like I said, I can't ignore the nuances and the connections. The fact that, you know, like I said, he went down, and homie's baby mother was involved with that. You know what I'm saying? And then we get to make the observation about the show on the same day as the potential sentencing. Right? And then we also want to make note that for Travis Scott, if anybody did see that performance, you know, that shit worked perfectly in Rome. I don't think it would have worked the same way in Kemet, right? But it worked wonderfully in Rome. It worked wonders. You know what I mean?
Because it was in this proper place.
It looked like it was in this proper
place.
setting.
Yeah.
This shit, it fell where it needed to fall. It hit where it needed to hit.
Did bullshit.
What he doing? What did he do?
He did the concert that he was gonna do in Giza at the pyramids. He did it in Rome.
Right, yeah. There can be a summer jam behind the wall. There's enough artists locked up at this point that they can literally throw a summer jam. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
behind the wall.
Everybody is, dang, it's really been a changing of, it's really a big shift happening. Yeah.
Yeah, now,
wow.
I'm just saying this, y'all.
At 5 o'clock.
It's been a long time since I seen a nigga perform before 60,000 people.
Straight up.
And he performed. Like, let's just give some credence to this man's melanin. Like, this nigga be nonstop.
Straight up.
Jumping on that stage. Straight up. Yeah, like he was pouncing on that stage. You feel me? And this comes off of me looking at Rock the Bells this past weekend. And let me say with no insurmountable doubts whatsoever in my voice, LL Cool J is the GOAT.
Whoa, you coming out and saying that?
Yes, it's time that it's said. It needs to be said.
A bold statement.
We need to put shit in perspective, and I'm glad that we're at this 50-year point, so we can properly audit this shit for what it's worth, for what it's hitting for.
But listen, LL Cool J came out and said to Swiss, and he said to Timbaland, "I want that boy Drake." He came out and said that, and people laughed at him. They laughed it off. Nobody took it serious.
They need to watch that man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I drink CMOS, so I don't got old knees. But for my niggas who know past a certain age that your shit start creaking, you feel me?
Nah, it's so funny, bro.
Look, this is a over 40 convo. Like, this nigga ain't over 40 yet. For my niggas that's over 40 that you know your knees start creaking, to see these men and these women, their grandparents, right? Let's put that in perspective. These individuals that we're looking at as grandparents, right? These niggas is bodying their performances. They getting on stage and showing you what a consummate professional looks like. Nobody missed a step. But LL is acting a fucking fool on stage right now.
He always been fit though.
I feel you. Granted, he kept it together. But
he always been like that fashion, that model of like being fit. You know.
But seeing it in performance set, because I'm saying fit is one thing. Rapping your songs, running up and down stages, you feel me? Dancing and shit, and keeping up.
Yeah, he got to be in the GOAT conversation,
and keeping up with the whole thing. Yeah, it was LL in the Roots.
He been popping since the 80s.
Hey, y'all got an instrumental y'all fuck with that we can put on this promotion?
Since Crush Grooves. Yeah, you got that?
Yeah.
Since Crush Groove, like, let's put in perspective how long this man has been popping. Let us put in perspective, because I watched Crush Groove the other day. Let's also put in perspective the amount of weight that he put on his back and carried the game, right? Because he held a whole label down. We talking Def Jam. We talking major instrumental, monumental shit. And then he was rapping the other day. I'm like, this boy killed cannabis. He performed that shit the other night. He was in rare form. And he had Jay-Z on his motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had historical battles back in the days. You feel me? And he still is like, that nigga's a punk. You know what I'm saying? Like, he still kept the same energy with him.
Same energy.
When
it's
son
like,
became,
it's like the 50 and Jai.
Yeah.
It's gonna be beef forever, huh?
Because he became president of Def Jam and tried to front. And that was never forgiven. DMX spazzed on him because of that. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes you be like, damn, babe, bro, it's just business. It's not personal. You know what I'm saying? They put me in this position just to clip you and cut you. It's like, all right, but you offered yourself to be that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's not something that these people missed. So LL ain't let them get away with that punk shit. Some of these niggas be doing punk shit. You feel me? But I really, after, and I got to give it to him, and I go on record, and I'm from the borough, right? I was born in the Bronx. And the Bronx may have created hip-hop, but them Queens niggas did something different with it. And you could just only be honest with yourself. Get hater. Like, if you ain't got no hate in your blood, you got to be honest and be like, yo, them Queens niggas took that shit and did something different with it. Run DMC was acting a fucking fool this past week, and Run in particular. This nigga was acting a fool. And you almost forgot how foolish Run DMC used to be when they really had this game on lock, right? You wasn't here yet.
I was not here.
He wasn't here.
So I gotta give some credit.
But I'm gonna give you perspective. Like all of these artists I'm talking about were paradigm shifters when they came into the game. Darren Henson, you was there because you was dancing around this time around these individuals, so you can lend credits to what I'm saying. When like all of them replaced errors when they came out. Like, oh shit, niggas was doing this, then when Run DMC came out, they replaced the niggas that was wearing sequins and makeup and shit because they was coming out of disco, right? So Melly Mel and them niggas was still wearing spikes and shit like that. They was still affected by the disco scene. These niggas was dressing up like Rick James.
Right.
When Run DMC came, that was the first time the niggas got to see what the streets look like. Because Jam Master Jay came and gave them the dress, the swag, and everything else. He was in the mix. So leathers, Adidas, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucking fedoras. That was the first time niggas seen some shit like that. And then they an emerging rock and roll, Rick Rubin doing the production. That had never been seen. They resurrected the career of Aerosmith, which is our parents' group type shit. You feel me? They was the first niggas to go platinum in that respect, play stadiums of that size, right? And then LL came and just brought a youthful spirit to Def Jam, and he was rhyming his ass off. Run DMC wasn't really that lyrical. They was kind of ABC rappers. LL came out spitting crazy. Right?
You gotta reference me a song. I never heard nobody say LL Cool J said that.
I mean,
the LL line.
My radio is I Need Love, right? He showed
those are hit songs now. Those are hit songs. They're big.
Humongous. And again, because we could just say, yo, something was a hit. I'm trying to give you the backdrop of what the feeling was and why it was so instrumental. So, radio just can't. I mean, the shit was just. It was just hard. Like they never seen that. Like the virility of what he represented as the youth, the power and the strength. Right, the assurance, the confidence, the swag, and then he was spitting. You know what I'm saying? But then when he came with I Need Love and it was a love song, we had never seen nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? We had never seen I'm Bad. You know what I mean? He came back with I'm Bad. He came back with Mama Said Knock You Out. He came back with 4, 5, 3. You know what I'm saying? Like through the eras, he was hitting.
Right.
And coming back. And then he was on his Hollywood shit. But never forgetting the roots of, yo, I gotta be on my hip hop shit, bar none. You know what I'm saying? Like he never lost his thing. This is for my number one. He understood his base. He was he talks to my girl, her moms, and her grandmoms. Nobody does that. Nah, for real.
Yeah.
This nigga's different.
Yeah.
And And he attacked the mic like Tyson entered the ring. So his attack, his aggressiveness with the mic device, like you not like he was the first nigga to lay it down. Like you not fucking with this mic. Don't come nowhere near me. I'm bodying shit. Then he had to body Kumo D, who represented an older era.
Yeah, I
you know what I'm saying? He washed my guy. You know what I mean? Then, like I said, just he's moving through the eras. He's always had something substantial. You know what I mean? He always stood on business. He was always about fitness, virility to a degree, and the nigga Shinnecock. So, through all of this representation, he's not only putting on for the Black American in Queens, New York, they gotta get their name back because of what KRS One and the rest of them did, and Queens is looked at as soft. So he's repping, he's holding Black America on his back, and he is a wonderful representation because Queens, right? The county of Queens is all one Long Island. It's all connected to a place called Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
So Long Island is where the Montauk and the Shinnecock at the very tip of it exist.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come down, you got different counties, right? Wyandanch, Brentwood, all of these are counties that rappers came from, like Rakim, EPMD, Busta Rhymes, right? Public Enemy. And niggas is like, Long Island, how they coming out of Long Island? Because Long Island, Queens, and Brooklyn are all Kings County. It's all one Long Island. And the indigenous people of that island are melanated people, right? Our bloodline runs into the Shinnecock. LL comes from the Shinnecock. ODB comes from the Shinnecock. You feel me? So the fact that he represented for Queens, but he don't even understand he really represented for the whole Kings County or the whole of Long Island or the whole of, you know what I'm saying? That contingency of what our people represented. I'm looking at him in that perspective as well. Because he's doing this without knowledge of what he's doing. Right? And then went and incorporated Rock the Bells as a way to pay homage to the genre. He's creating a radio station to keep the shit alive, and then created a festival system to allow them people to eat. Right? He could have rode off into the sunset like the rest of these bitch ass niggas do.
That's another thing that we got to do as a collective now is we're creating this new genre to, you know, incentivize and give the founders of these percentages the same way that Swiss and Timbaland did with Versus. You feel?
Oh yeah. They said that.
Yeah.
They put that share revenue situation together. Yeah.
We got to figure out how we can do that for what is being done right here, right now, because we are the founding fathers of, you know, what we got going on, man. It's very instrumental. And then I remember y'all was just talking about the astrology of hip hop. And when you all were having that conversation, y'all was talking about hip hop's South and North node, right? With that South node being Cancer, and then that North node being Capricorn, and it's shown, right? Even where hip hop came from, the samples of those love songs, of being emotionally intelligent, of their nurturing and caring energy. It's like, yeah, it's just love in the earth to the what we would call the nigga shit. You feel me? And LL Cool J, his moon is in Cancer, but his sun is in Capricorn. So it will only make sense that he would last the longest.
That he would be the one.
He would be the one that would be able to, over time, still stand strong.
Yeah.
Because he represents the South and the North.
He really kicked in the door.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying it from what I remember as a youth. You know what I'm saying? When we was into LL was that guy. I think that was the first album that we actually, I think my first album was Whitney. I think Rez was LL, so, you know. But that was the first album we owned, you know what I'm saying?
Who would you compare LL to of today's time that you actually got to witness? Because you was there when LL came out. You know, the feeling like you were just talking about and how it captivated people and how people ran with it. would you compare that to any artist of today, and if so, who?
I would have to sit with that. It's very hard because so much goes into what LL represented in terms of a trendsetter,
right,
and a trailblazer.
Right.
I would say they saying Drake. I would say Future might be a dirty version of him. Like he might be the dark Kermit version of what LL represents. In terms of, I mean, because they like Drake, but LL don't sing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they convinced they saying Drake.
Drake. That's the verses that gotta happen then.
Yeah.
It gotta happen.
He want that smoke.
He want that smoke.
You know what I mean? And I didn't initially think he was super lyrical to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm appreciating it now more so as I'm seeing him in rare form and I'm hearing these stories about his battles. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't always my cup of tea per se. I was more like Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, LL is a rare form individual.
He gonna be out here soon, right?
Yeah, he'll be out here August 21st.
Mm-hmm.
They said him and Slick Rick got the same birthday.
Oh wow!
Now, that's another instrumental one.
Wow.
I'm looking at Slick Rick's show and Rock the Bells. He had the Rickettes with him.
Mm-hmm.
I had to turn on Teenage Love and perform it for my lady. Like, yo, this was my favorite song. I got mad, moments and memories connected to this. Like, this is nostalgic music that has frozen in time, that is just classics that will never age. Like, I will never not like this music.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's nothing that can be done that removes these songs, right? And they were so perfect. They were so perfectly written. The videos were so perfectly done, and these were young men that did not have context prior to that to make bodies of work like this. So I'm just being dumbfounded.
Pure imagination.
And it's 50 years to be like, who were these people? Who were these avatars that were able to channel this?
What you say earlier, artistic insemination? Yeah,
to channel this energy to create artistic inseminations and plant seeds that are 40 and 50 years germinating in our minds. And when they performed it the other day, it was just like yesterday. Yeah. Like, none of them missed a step. They all are enshrined in terms of their youth. Like, hip-hop preserves you. You feel me? Like, none of these people looked aged. They just had grays, but they didn't look aged.
Hey, it's interesting that you said that.
Hip-hop grandparents with the bop.
Nah, hip-hop grandparents with the bop. I had the opportunity to go to see Raekwon and Ghost.
Oh, you went to Monticello?
Yeah, Monticello. We had went. It was me, Red, Athletics, and his brother. We had all pulled up. And it was my first time actually seeing them live. Yeah. I had never went to a show before. Yeah. And I had just been fresh off watching the
Wu-Tang,
right? The Wu-Tang joint. Yeah, so this is like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And actually stepping there, because I've been to Monticello's before, it was like I stepped into a portal. Because they transformed everything about the club, and it became like a nostalgic time capsule that I was trapped in. I'm talking about these folks is outside with the Wu-Tang 36 chamber albums. They want to get the junk signed and everything. You feel what I'm saying? It's people in the club that you would never think would be in the club.
I'm trying to tell you, son.
You feel me? And then it's like everybody there is from the ilk of like knowledge of self, because everybody know who Red is. They dapping them up. They taking pictures with them. We exchanging numbers. You feel what I'm saying? So just to be there and then hear people in the club really like rapping Jadakiss songs word for word, you know what I'm saying? And actually being in that type of atmosphere is the first time I had ever experienced that. You feel me? So it is a power of hip hop to be able to immortalize you and keep you within that spectrum that you were just talking about. This is just like
it's an ionic field.
Yeah.
It's a morphogenetic field that is encased and enshrined and enthroned in this music, where I think if you listen to a certain vibration of the music, you will be kept youthful. I think that there's another spectrum of the music. There's more of the death culture that probably is not going to keep you, because these are some old looking young niggas. Right. Yeah. So, but the niggas should be like, damn, them niggas ain't grow up yet. Nope.
Bro, I was in the
them
club.
Niggas is 50 plus with Timberlands on, and
it's funny, bro. We was in the club, and Ray was like, yeah, well, all my niggas in here that's over 40, and the crowd went crazy. I said, down.
And we've been this has been unexplored territory, right? And the answers are undifferentiated. When niggas was like, damn, I wonder what hip hop gonna look like over 40. Like, how niggas gonna be grandfathers rapping? You see it, nigga. Yeah, you see it. These niggas is grandfathers rapping. You feel me? And they rapping like they was 18 and 19, and they're still in the same attire, and they still got the same shit on, and they never changed uniforms. Did they ever not grow up?
Yeah, rapper do that to you too. You know what I'm saying? When you stay stagnant within a certain modality or a certain expression because it serves you to a certain point.
This is their character.
Yeah, that's their character, just like you were talking about with the acting.
Right? So if they're trailblazing as this is being their characters or their caricatures, how do you put it down and do something else? And what else is there to do other than be a parent and be a husband?
Exactly.
Right? But your contribution to society is your bop, is your music, is the fact that you gotta keep the flame lit and carry the torch until you're in the tomb, and then your music will live on past that. So this shit keeps you hostage. There is no growing up in hip hop.
Well, I wouldn't say that because we have people that's went on, reinvented themselves, went into other pockets, of expression and have grown. Like we can say Jay-Z, right? We can say Jay-Z has done a lot of things within the hip-hop culture, but he still serves as that nostalgic feel of an era of music that we can tap into whenever we want to. But that hasn't stopped his progression as a person.
I think, okay, so that's kind of key that you make that reference. He angled himself to project into the future as his aspirations were entrepreneurship, right? So you would say, damn, you got to grow up in that space, right? And I hear what y'all saying. They putting, people down that I'm like, I get it. Queen Latifah, granted. But when Queen Latifah hit that stage and performed UNITY, it's Queen Latifah from 89, right? She put the Shahrazad crown on with the cape. We can't make the differentiation. There's a blurred line. You can't be like, oh, this is a 50-year-old version of Queen Latifah. No, you're looking at a 50-year-old perform a 20-year version of the music that Latifah put out. It's the same thing. They said Ice-T. Ice-T got music,
Ice-T,
right?
Who else? Ice Cube. Like the list goes on.
Right? And what I'm saying is that I'm saying they are enshrined. That doesn't mean that, they didn't grow up and do nothing past the,
Most
saying, that particular line. I'm just saying when they hit the stage and get to performing, they go right back to the 20-year-old or 30-year-old that we remember. There's nothing to suggest that a 40 or 50-year-old is doing something different other than they got grays in their hair. Right. When Jay-Z gets to perform in his catalog, he's Hove once again with dreads. You know what I'm saying? With $1 billion in the bank, but that's still the nigga that we know that made It's a Hard Knock Life. And it takes you back to that space. So this is not to me to say that hip hop is not accomplished. Like, it has gone amazing places and we've taken it, but we haven't abandoned hip hop to get to those places. We took hip hop with us everywhere that we went. And these are the people that can show you that it is possible as a lifestyle. Now, I don't know what a 50-year-old driller grandfather is going to look like. If he make it to 50. Right. I don't know what Chief Keef at 70 looks like. Right. But these artists are showing us.
But we see that in the hood all the time. We see glorified children. You know what I'm saying? Glorify people who did things within their early ages, and they used that as kind of like their prestige.
Talk about it. Yeah.
You know, so if they're using it as their prestige, a lot of people don't grow outside of that, and then they wonder why we don't listen to the OGs. Because it'd be like, you still doing the same shit you was doing.
You frog,
Yeah.
and who cloned Tyrone? You feel me? You frog. You the nigga holding up the store.
Right, exactly. So it's like
that stick up. You the beams. You the support beams. You the nigga holding up the store and shit.
So we got a whole, you know, hip hop artists, you know, to a certain bar, you know, in accountability within what they're putting out to the masses, and chin check them when it's time to do that, you know, and not be afraid to do that. Do it from a place of, you know, compassion and understanding, but to still be able to, you know, lead by example, you know, because it is for us to, because like me, for instance, right, I still have an artist named Countable, right, that people love, they grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
They have memories that they share. It's a nostalgia. It serves as a time period in their life. And it's not that I don't honor that side of myself or I won't go and perform. I just did a 10-year anniversary last year at home. But it's about continuing to reinvent yourself in the now and to grow from it. Because if we don't grow from our experience of expressing ourselves, then what are we doing it for? Then it makes it like we're doing it for the notoriety or we're doing it for the money. So the integrity is lost within it, because anytime that I go out and express myself, it's to learn more about myself, right? So I can go then and apply that in my life moving forward. But them songs serve as a timestamp. So whether I was right, wrong, or indifferent, I still stood on that principle until it was debunked and I could grow from it. Most niggas be getting their whole life rattled and debunked and go back to saying the same shit. Niggas get robbed for their chains, niggas get treated like hoes, and go back to talking about kill,
Like
gangster shit. It's like, my nigga,
need to change with your circumstance, right? And I would love to see. And you made a good point. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's not enough for them to be like, I could pick up a mic and remind you of when we was all 19 and 20. It's like I do want to hear some progression in terms of like perspective. Oh, I'm looking at my music that I made 30 years ago. What has changed about me, or what have I seen the effects of my music have had on community, society, things of this nature? Where has my music taken me, and what has that showed me for me to broaden my understandings about the world, have a larger perspective? Because I always will question, how can niggas go on world tour and come back and talk about the same shit that took place on their block? So I'm like, who are they robbing themselves? Are they robbing the listeners of an experience to grow with them?
Niggas be stuck on algorithm.
Or y'all niggas been around the world 3 times and ain't seen nothing? So how could you be our cultural ambassadors if you've been to Japan, but I never seen nothing about Japan reflected in your music? I never seen you bring nothing back. How could you niggas go to Kemet and I never seen y'all bring nothing swaggy back? Like, I ain't even see y'all book a shorty out there. Like, you don't even got no shorties that you could flew out to. And where y'all be going these places and doing what? You feel me? You supposed to be cultural ambassadors.
This is what happened. Rappers become so attached to the idea of what keeps them tethered to their fan base. So that's how a Migos could even be shooting dice, and they millionaires.
Right. Tethered
you
to
feel
that,
me?
right.
They just tethered to it. It's like the growth. It's like you won't even supposed to be in the same rooms as these people. Certain things should be eradicated out of your life. Right. But because you're doing it for a certain look, then that's where the bullshit happens. That's where you get caught in the crossfire. That's when you're looked at as just another nigga.
Right, another nigga. You become fair prey because you doing regular shit the niggas do. And the 6 million ways the niggas die, choose one. When you put yourself in that alignment, you know what I'm saying? Then you could fuck around, like you said, you could catch straight. You know what I mean? So what does leveling up look like? What does growing up in hip hop really look like? Hopefully we would think it's being a parent, catching up on that lost time you had with that seed, right? Because we watching the show Growing Up Hip Hop, you could see that a lot of these little niggas suffered from that. You feel me? They didn't have their parents and they grew vindictive. I could understand that. Like, oh, you out over here sharing all of this talent you got with the world, and I need you over here. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You start hating that shit and not appreciating it for what it is because you're not the one personally benefiting from it. So we seen the children of artists get into that. So, I think Nas put the call out the other day. He's like, I need to see over 40 rappers, like, make it a passion project, put that shit out. Why are we relying on these labels when we got the internet? Like, I want to hear what you niggas got. Like, none of these niggas had nothing in the vault. Like, and everything that you recorded.
That's somebody else who transformed, Nas. And that's why his music is able to be so relevant right here, right now. Because he's talking about what he's currently doing. He's talking about it from an elevated state of a mature man that I can look at and be like, oh, that's my OG. You feel what I'm saying?
He's giving us that look.
Yeah, he's giving us that look for sure.
But we ain't getting it from too many other places. I think Busta tried, give some elements of what a grown Busta might look and sound like.
Well, I will give Busta this credit. I didn't know how knowledgeable he was about self and just that whole ilk of, the 5% and things of that nature until I heard him on Drink Champs and sit down and have a conversation.
He was an enlightener, so...
It was never expressed. Listening to his music, you would never know that.
Yeah,
you feel what I'm
he
saying?
was an enlightener, so he had bodies of students. He wasn't just a student, he was a teacher of bodies of students. So this nigga allegedly is super knowledgeable about the lessons.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, you would not know.
I wouldn't
seeing
even know
the lifestyle, seeing the music, seeing the things that go along with that.
So for him to be able to show a different part of him, you can see that, it's coming to a point in time where he is looking to transform. They waiting on us, to be honest.
They waiting on us, I used to see Busta, we'd be in a club, and I'd be like, how many years left is it? Because his shit was only 5 years left. And we'd be the only people in the club on info, on right, on the information and shit. And it'd be our little, King God. We wasn't doing that back then, necessarily. And this was the 98, 99, 2000s, you know what I'm saying? So, when I see them holding it together and holding it up and holding it down, you know what I mean? In the way that they show up, however they do show up, is honorable. You gotta salute that, because a lot of people did abandon the information. They abandoned, they backslid and went right back into whatever they was into. They didn't keep it consistent. And your generation, was robbed of that bridge to information and consciousness. It shit just went dark, from like 96, 97 on.
Yeah, that fifth pillar was non-existent.
Yeah, they eradicated and erased that. With Wu-Tang and Bad Boy era had the showdown, and Wu-Tang wanted what Bad Boy had, and they had to sacrifice something as a result. So they like, we're gonna get rid of this information and get on this Gambino shit, because Crack Rack was on the run because of Big and the New York scene. So they had to get on Cuban Links, and the people really fucked with ODB. You know what I'm saying? When I would go to concerts, that's who they came for. Now, this is instrumental because this becomes a throughway between certain artists that dealt with knowledge of self wanted to speak to their people. They wanted to speak to the audience. They wanted to speak to the streets. But then they would go to concerts and there'd be all white boys there. So how you look talking about knowledge of self, but they eating it up. But then there's the contingency of the white audience that wanted it more slower and more ignorant. The more ignorant, the better.
The better.
And
Exactly.
that's
where Travis Scott come in.
That created the field. Because post Big and Pac, DMX comes. Eminem comes, right? And then the Little John, like, and I'm telling you that I was there for the Little John and the Crunk era and all of that. That's the shit that they really could fuck with. Because now you're dealing with frat boys. Now you're dealing with college.
I mean, 3 6 Mafia has
right,
and
3 6 Mafia's
crowd is white boys.
And 3 6 Mafia, you know, tapped into that algorithm of, oh, we could just, you know, they here for party and bullshit. So it's like, all right, who am I speaking this information to? Who am I speaking this knowledge to? The people was coming to see Wu-Tang. They was coming to see Method Man, the shorties, and the lyrical adept people. They was coming to see Ray and Ghost.
Let me get iPad open.
You want me to cut some of this?
Huh?
Oh, you weren't trying to send it to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they was going to see ODB. You feel me? They was going to see ODB for real though. Like that's what they was really tapped into. So.
Put your iPad on?
Yeah, I got everything.
Oh yeah, but you got to put everybody on for 10 minutes again.
Alright. Yeah, y'all, but I ain't gonna hold y'all too long, family. We're gonna get back to work over here. Alright. Again, you know, just to be able to give you a glimpse of these engaging, exciting conversations, I know that it's gonna be a lot more palatable once it's fully edited and we in high definition, giving you the highlights that you all deserve. You know what I'm saying? So please be patient, stay tuned. We bringing the ruckus, right?
You said you wanted me to chop it. You just said
25 seconds.
Yeah.
25 seconds?
That's good. Yeah, I could have pulled my head down. Ain't nobody saying my head was halfway on. Y'all funny for that, bro.
Can you send it to my phone?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm gonna play this commercial for y'all real quick and then let y'all go. But yeah, I appreciate you. Shout out to Red. I think we're gonna be on Know the Ledge later.
Put your on for everybody again on the phone.
Hold on, y'all. Yeah. All right, let me play this commercial for y'all.
Hey.
Yeah. Real time. Peace to you and yours, Brother Blueport, live and direct to you. Want to inform the world that we have a new podcast coming. Me and Red will be presenting Blurred Lines. There's a very thin line between fact and fiction, and we're going to give you the clarity. All right? Tune in for Blurred Lines podcast. Coming soon. Be presented. Yeah. So that's the skinny on that for now, family. Blur Lines, you know, we're going to be bringing premiere content to the family in real time. All right, this is a collaborative project. And yeah, it's going to be hitting. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be having these conversations just at a higher level, higher production. You know what I'm saying? And more engaging. Yeah, that beat is fire. Exactly.
Spiritual Flex, number 40.
Spiritual Flex.
In the world right now.
Let them know. Shit. Spiritual Flex.
Spiritual Flex, man. Trending right now on Instagram. The number 48 real in the world, man. Go make a a reel to that. You know what I'm saying? Spiritual Flex, Free Trend, Lizzie Jeff, and Free Soul. On United We Stand 2. Go cop it on all streaming platforms.
Alright. So you done know. Yeah, Brother Red, I'll see you. I'll see you later. To the family that's tapping in. Again, peace, love, and light. Open verse challenge. Oh, it's an open verse challenge, bro.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Say less. That's gonna send to another joint.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, man. Verse. Hey, DM me. I gotta give you a percentage on that one. I'm about to go and do that.
That's right. So look, real quick. My bad. Before I tap out, I want to talk about this real quick. Where did John at? Okay. Magic mushrooms, right?
Oh, this your health and wellness joint.
Right? Magic mushrooms are being dealt in San Francisco by psychedelic churches, and the city government can't do anything about it. Right? So they have taken upon themselves to press the line, right? And I have shared sentiments when I was dipping and dabbling. I used to tell some of my brethren, I used to be like, let's press the line, right? What was I doing? Oh, I was making edible food, but my edible food was THC based. So we was making pizzas and everything. And I was like, fuck them people, man. I was like, let's just press the line. You know what I'm saying? If they come, they come. We'll be legends it's not gonna, nigga, you're not going to the feds. Just calm down. We just making pizza. So I'm like, sometimes you gotta press the line. Sometimes you gotta be the trailblazer. Sometimes you got to sacrifice to bend the curve. When the shit go legal, you gonna be a hero in the community. Somebody got to press the line. The college, they can't be always the ones out here pressing the line.
Right.
So in San Francisco, they have installed churches that deal specifically with psychedelics for their patrons. You feel me? And they are standing on First Amendment rights. And they're begging them to come and lock them up so they can make it a political issue, a legal issue. They're pressing the line. And they was out here they're heavily using social media to promote their shit. And these folks don't know what to do with them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not advising you to jump out the window, you know what I mean? But I am, informing you that bringing whatever demonstration that you're attempting to demonstrate underneath the auspices of religion, right? That's how you protect it. And let me tell you what these dirty motherfuckers did, right? They went and they took the peyote. They took mad sacred medicine from the indigenous people. And they told them that the only way that they would administer it to them or allow them to dabble in their sacred arts is that they had to become Christians. And they could only administer it to them through church. So you got to utilize their loopholes, the dirty tricks that they used, right? In order to suppress spirituality, because that's what they was doing in place for religion, going in places and suppressing things that they didn't quite understand yet, that they considered to be exotic or primitive, right? Even though I beg to differ, because I think that they've had research and they knew what these sacred plants was hitting for, right? They twisted them people, bent them over, did what they pleased with them, and told them, yo, you got to come underneath us in the church in order for us to give you permission to dabble in your traditions. That's what they on. You feel me? So San Francisco, they got 2 churches where they are administering psilocybins to their patrons, right? And they don't give 2 shits.
You a minister, ain't you?
I'm a minister.
Alright.
With the ministries.
Come on now.
That is not, you know what I'm saying? My shit is on paper as such.
You gotta sit up to play.
And I got it situated in the right way. So when I created Mineral Ministries, you know what I'm saying? It was also with this understanding that all of this shit falls under minerals, right? It grows out the soil. So it's a mineral. You feel me? We got to do it for hemp. We got to do it for cannabis. I mean, just the cannabis plant, period, and the psilocybins. You feel me? With the pay, we got to bring all of this back home where it deserves to be, where it needs to be.
Today's a great day to journey, especially on this.
On this 8-8.
Yeah, 8-8. More so with the moon being exalted in Taurus, if we having any type of financial issues or anything about having or tangible goods that we may need to bring into fruition or see that we already have at our tool belt. The psilocybin is really good for that, to bring those things to the surface, for you to be able to see it, pull it from the mycelium and apply it in real time, so that's just a gem.
You heard it, right? So, move accordingly, you feel me? It'd be a wonderful day, on this quote-unquote portal day,
Right.
to make something happen for yourself.
Right.
Responsibly. Again, set and setting is everything. What does that mean? Mindset. What mindset are you going into? And the setting. What is your surroundings? How did you prepare your vessel and your temple? Not only your physical temple, but your dwellings. If you're gonna, participate in it somewhere, you got to make sure that place is equipped, is sanitized. You know what I'm saying? You have to be responsible enough. You have to be in charge of your journey. Because don't put that in nobody else's hands.
People come to me sometimes and they be like, "What's the strongest thing you got?" And I be having to stop them right there, and just ask the question on what is your intention? What are you looking to gain from the experience, right? Because when we just go with things like that, it's like it's like escapism. You know what I'm saying? It's a way to use the sacred medicine as a dopamine.
They're approaching it like it's drugs.
Like it's drugs. It's like, this is medicine, my G.
Right.
It's medicine. So having it is
is look how it's being reported. Psilocybin mushrooms, which are commonly called magic mushrooms, are powerful drugs that can distort a person's senses and give them strong hallucinations if they consume a large enough dose. Both California law and federal law consider psilocybin an illegal substance.
Yeah, niggas is popping them like Skittles. Like, you feel me? Like, if I go on the train, it's somebody selling mushrooms with the weed.
With the weed,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm seeing it, yeah.
I didn't hear somebody even come to me and tell me that they break down their mushrooms and put it within their weed and smoke it.
Oh yeah, I've definitely heard that.
Type of placebo effect you trying to go with, my G? What do you mean? Like
they and it's like we be doing the most. You feel me? The nerve of niggas to say it was a white boy thing and then get this shit and do this with it. It's like, come on, niggas. Are you for real? Like, you got to be more careful, man.
Yeah. So
it's like, set and setting. Mindset and your physical surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Who you give permission to be your guide through this particular, vision quest that you're going on. All of these things are important. All of them are imperative to be mindful of, to take note of. And stop, with the abusive behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's not going to get you where you're looking to go. You just replacing one abuse system with another.
Exactly.
They say they're trying to have a butterfly effect. And do not, and this is the shit that I've been hearing that is just spooky to me. Stop utilizing, the psilocybin with the alcohol, man. That's just a no-no, bro. Like, leave it to niggas to do some shit that is just totally off the motherfucking...
Bro, mushrooms are so intense to the fact that I don't see how people doing recreationally.
Facts.
Those are some intense experiences.
there's some stripped down, intense experiences. I don't know how people be in the clubs treating this shit like as Molly Perkins said.
Yo.
And no, your guide should not be on it. Your guide should be still in this particular realm so they can be a guide. Right? They're there for your experience, not for them to be, jumping in and out. You feel me? That's not a guide. You know what I'm saying? That person cannot be committed to you because they can't be committed to themselves because you can't go into this saying what's going to happen. You feel me?
But I will say this.
If I said kombucha, okay.
For your guide or your sitter, make sure that sitter has done as much as you're intaking at that time.
All right. Explain that.
Right. So be mindful of that. Because when you're sitting with mushrooms, right, or sitting with someone, you can have a frame of reference of what you would do in those situations and how you calm yourself down, right? If you don't have any clinical experience of that, how can you then, help others through their journey effectively? So that's something that was told to me by my seafood, right? And it's something that I take with me when I tell other people. The person who's sitting with you, if you're going on a heroic dose or anything above that, you have to have a sitter who's done that amount of shrooms. Don't go in that water blindly. Don't go in that water by getting your friend or your girl, your whiz or whatever, and she don't know what's happening to you at that very moment. You feel me? So it's really
she don't know what's happening. She don't know what to do.
She don't know what to do. She don't know nothing. So like at the Soft Spot, we do give guided journeys. So y'all can tap in with us, and you can actually be within our meditation room and stay with us, and we will sit with you throughout your journey. And it just would be a transformative experience if you don't have anyone that can sit with you that has sat with the medicine before. Yeah.
That's right. Get that responsibility factor intact, right? So you can release and let go. You don't want to have none of this on your mind. You don't want to be thinking about any of this. Same way that you don't want to have nothing on your stomach, you don't want to have nothing on your brain. You want to go in there blank slate, with no expectations, just allowing the fungus to do what it do. Right? Real quick, I keep saying this, and this is going into some of my segments before I leave. This is an instrumental article I came across as well, and it was speaking about the biodiversity. And it speaks about the biodiversity of the planet, of the soil, what makes up the. Damn, I hope I'm finding it. Is this it?
Kiss this guy.
Okay. 2/3 of the world's biodiversity lives in soil, right? 2/3 of the world's biodiversity lives in soil. They saying they just now finding this out. What I've been telling you is that it's been very, very dangerous following the colonizer who is so late to the party on any and everything, right? It's terrifying how off these people are. They will destroy the majority of the topsoil in this country in particular, just to turn around and say that we have discovered that 2/3 of biodiversity lives in the topsoil. They've already destroyed the topsoil.
Hey, can you'll make like another graphic so we can put it like on the top and bottom so it ain't, you know what I'm saying, clashing like that. But that's hard. I like that box though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's stupid. That's it right there. Right?
Yep.
So my trip was mostly scary and only a couple things good. All right, what did you eat before you took your trip? Let's do this. Right?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna do these enigmas tonight.
Shit, my intentions were pure, but states were getting.
Yeah, like if you zoom it in, you can do a TikTok like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go back. Maybe pull the words over just a little bit. Look, because it kind of get chopped off a little bit.
Just pull it in.
It was the 14 grams with date syrup. Wait,
No,
what?
Zoom in,
Nothing. It was the 14. You took 14 grams, fam?
Bro.
With date syrup?
Bro.
By yourself?
Bro.
Who was you with?
Bro.
We need to talk.
I can't see. Yeah.
Nigga said 14 jizzles. 14 grizzles?
I gotta refrain from saying things that's dismissive or triggering, so I'm gonna let you deal with them. Because
I mean, yeah, I want to have a conversation. I'm like, wait, what? I say you have fruit early in the day. What is a good time distance? Like 4 or 5 hours at least.
Yeah.
You feel me?
We normally fast for the whole day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just do liquids, but at least 5 hours.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
we need to find something out that mandates, you know, the dietary suggestion, because niggas gonna do what they want at the end of the day.
Yeah, and people are not. I say this too. People react differently off the mushrooms. Some people can take them in higher dosages than others. Like for me, I'm a lightweight. You know what I'm saying? Anything gonna send me there. Anything over 1.5 grams, I'm out of here. You know, but like for my Wiz or whatever, it takes a high dosage, and she can have been ate something.
Right.
Me, my stomach gotta be completely empty.
Right. So now we're speaking about the diversity of microbiomes, which speak directly to this article in the diversity of soil. Because your microbiome is like your soil,
Right.
in your body, right? It would be like my dirt. You feel me? The microbiome is where the bacteria and everything is associated and located. So, dependent on your microbiome, like my cousin used to always joke with me and shit, and he'd be like, man, y'all niggas better eat a burger or something.
Right.
Emergency happens,
Right.
you motherfuckers gotta eat a Big Mac, you might fall out and die.
Nah, real
Right?
talk. Real talk.
He's like, nigga, you better eat some dirt every now and then, just to keep yourself regular.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
And cells ain't never been in a fight, so they get it when they gonna get their head knocked out.
Yeah, I used to, you know, think that he was trying to play with me initially, but I was like, I understand that logic. You feel me? That you be so fucking clean to, you know what I'm saying? A burger gonna take you out. Nigga, you got too clean.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let me just read this real quick. Coral reefs, the deep sea, and its the treetops of the rainforest are considered the main hotspots of biodiversity. However, they all trail behind the soils. According to a new study, soils are the most species rich ecosystems worldwide. Their importance for human nutrition is enormous, and the proportions of soils worldwide that are considered degraded or destroyed is growing steadily, right? Hence the fact here in the U.S., 90% of the soil is depleted. They don't have no magnesium in the soil. They don't have iron in the soil, right? Those two minerals alone have offset us as people. Selenium, these are things that we need as melanated people specifically, right, to reinforce our melanin. They don't need selenium, right, because they don't operate off of zinc. They need sulfur, right? So they could put nitrates in their soils. They could put Roundup. They could put all of the motherfucking shit in their soil And it makes perfect sense to them. It's destroying us on a chemical level because that's not who we are. We don't come from that, right? And we don't have the microbiome that can get busy and alchemize those poisons. You know what I mean? You wasn't made like that. You were not, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to turn a new leaf. You're not the roaches of the planet, man. You know, like how the shrimps is the roaches of the sea and shit. You're not the aardvarks, man. You're not swine. You don't walk around eating trash and shit, transmuting it into fuel. That's not anatomically who you are. You're not the other white meat. Your shit is fruits. Your shit is berries. Your ecosystem is diverse in that it affords you everything that nature provides.
Man, that's like shit. I'm gonna get something to eat.
Yeah. But I'm wilding and shit. We've been on this for a minute. I want to appreciate you and say thank you for your time. All right, family. But peace, love, and light.